So did we get lane closure instead of land closure?
Got it.
Okay. On page 3, line 14. Under the trustee of the trust fund, it says managers of the prudential investments of the town, not affairs.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and at the top, page 3, at the top, line 2, I'm sorry, between line 1 and 2, the Wicked Eats applied for a vendor permit to operate a food truck selling mainly breakfast type foods.
Okay.
And then it continues, Wicked Eats intends on operating, cross out selling breakfast, operating Friday through Saturday, etc. And that's all I have.
Anyone else?
Motion to approve the
Oh,
minutes as amended?
Fran, I think it's a quick claim, D, not a quick claim, right?
Quit.
Yep.
Quit, Q-U-I-T.
Yeah, so
Wait, you
line,
put the quick
page
again?
page 1, line 24. It wrote quick claim, it's quit.
Oh, yeah, quit.
Yes. Charlie found his own error.
Yeah.
I repeat, motion to approve the,
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Silly,
Aye.
Mr. Wolf,
Aye.
Ms. Newton,
aye.
Mr. Badger says aye. Moving on. Charlie. Oh, no, we have Ann Barney. I see her there. Why don't
Hi.
you talk to us, Ann?
Yes, I wanted to talk about the ballpark and the after-school program.
Okay,
So we started the after-school program last Tuesday. And I met with Charlie and Chief Olick just real quickly because there was an issue with a lot of college kids being on the basketball court. And there's an issue with them, some of the quarantined kids being at the inn in Ashland. And Chief Olick can probably explain that better than I can, but my concern and some of the parents' concern were that they were using the courts, which is right where our kids go and, come out of the building and stuff.
during the same time?
Huh?
During the same time.
Yes. And instead of me going out and saying, we can't have any Plymouth State kids here, Chief Olick told me that I could not do that. So we made the blanket decision to just say no one could be there between the times of 2 and 5:30 when the after school program was going on. If you guys want to change it or make it different somehow, that's fine, but that's just what we decided to do to make things safer quickly.
I completely approve, Ann.
I suggest, how about we say it's only open to sanctioned activities such as the Ashland School soccer games?
Yes, I did have the talk to the school. The soccer kids are still, the school kids are still playing soccer there, and I made contact with the schools that they play, all their ADs and their coaches, and let them know that when their teams come to play us, they're more than welcome to have their kids and families sitting watching, but the kids are not allowed to go on the playground and use the equipment.
So that would be a sanctioned activity.
Yes.
Anybody else have any thoughts about the language?
There were, I will tell you, I did have a couple emails of parents that were concerned because residents could not use the field. Well, not the field, the kids were on the field, but the equipment and stuff during that time. So I did tell them I would bring it up to you to see if you guys could come up with a better idea than I had. I mean, I know it's a short period of time, but some parents were still upset.
Given the circumstances, you can't please all the people all the time. We've run into this with the beach. You know, a lot of people were upset that they couldn't use it. But given the COVID situation, we have to keep our kids safe.
I concur.
I do
Alan?
too.
Do you have signs or what do you have to put up to let people know that they're not allowed during those times?
If you guys tell me we're going to keep it the way we are, then I'm going to have signs made up to put up, and I will make sure it's in the paper. I had put it on my my Park and Rec page and Facebook, and I'm from Ashland and all that, but I will actually
You
put it in.
have you spoken to our webmaster to put it up on their site, on our
Nope.
site?
I wanted to make sure that you guys agreed before I put anything permanent, in
Okay.
case you wanted to do something different.
Kathleen, do you have any
Well-
extra wording you'd
This
like
is
to
just
use?
we can use this temporary measure due to COVID-19. We appreciate your cooperation. And like Fran said, we can't please everybody, but since Ann made this as a formal request, that I believe we should acquiesce to what she's looking for.
Okay.
So Ann, do you have the idea of what kind of language to use?
Yeah, I've been writing down.
You're gonna, by the end of the year, this will probably be a new skill for you to have acquired.
Yes.
I don't need to make light of it, but you made the formal request to us, and this is, this is supported. For that period of time, people will have to find someplace else to recreate. This is an established program.
Yes. So it's going to be off limits from just during the hours of my after school program, Monday through Friday. Yes.
Sounds good.
Can you say that again, Ann?
Between the hours of 2 and 5:30, we could actually make it 2:30. 2:30 and 5:30, 2:30 to 5:30, because the kids won't get down there immediately. Off limits
How about
during the
5:30?
week.
Could you have it till 5? Are you
Well,
still?
parents are picking the kids up at 5, and we're trying to stay out as much as possible.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could say 5:15, but
No, just
Thing here
as
is
the,
make it
as it gets darker in the season, we might be able to tweak those hours.
well, we're
with-
still
with
going to
it.
be outside as much as we can because that's the safest place for the kids, weather permitting. We do have tennis lights and basketball lights, so we have enough lights to light it up while we're out there.
Understood.
So 2:30 to 5:30. And I will get it posted, get it in the paper, get signs made.
You do have a way of, if there's any incidents, you do have a contact to help you.
I've had Will come down once and have to have some people taken off. but for the most part, they've listened. Then a couple have been upset and notified Charlie, but it is what it is.
Hopefully, it's a fluid situation and we will treat it as such.
Yep.
It's all right with me. Do you want it done as a motion or just a consensus?
Whatever works for you guys.
I think a consensus for this would be sufficient.
I do too.
Alan,
I agree.
Kathleen,
I agree.
Fran,
Agree.
Eli agrees.
So the consensus is the park will be closed from 2:30 to 5:30, or it's off limits during the week for the kids at after school program.
During the hours of after-school program,
For everybody.
except
But
the
you still will have the
after-school
soccer
program.
games down there.
Right.
That's why I use the word sanctioned activities.
Sanctioned activity.
Yeah, those are planned ahead and you know of them. It's not like a pickup soccer game.
Yeah, because they have practices daily or games.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if there's any other issues, let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on. Mr.
Moving on.
Smith.
Next one is mine, so to speak. I don't know if anyone's heard of this House Bill, State House Bill number 700 that was recently enacted. To summarize this, it basically pushed back the responsibility of assessing the utilities at the state level to municipalities. As you know, the Board of Selectmen have the responsibility of assessing all the properties in town, which we supplementally contract that out to CNP, which is Comerford, Yeater, Perkins. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes,
Go far.
Okay, just want to make sure my computer looks a little funky here. So CNP does the assessing for the town, but CNP does not do utility assessment. Now, this is by the means of utilities. It's not just hydropower that is included. It's EverSource. It's PSNH. It's the utility poles. It's all the conduits, et cetera, et cetera.
the easements,
I'm sorry.
the easements.
Yep. They that was done by the state, and since CMP doesn't assess those, they contracted out to George Sansucci. Before you is the agreement to enter in with George Sansucci to conduct this utility assessment. Now, we're sort of up against the clock, yes and no. I mean, DRA would like to see the MS1 completed by September 1st. So everyone knows the MS1 is a form that the town submits to DRA in order to calculate the tax rate. Real quick, how it works is after you have your vote, you recommend what the appropriations are going to be, subtract estimated revenue. It's your tax levy. Your tax levy gets divided into your assessed value to come up with your tax rate. As I said, that form was due September 1st. We applied for an extension because the utilities weren't completed. We have since asked for another extension to October 15th, which was granted today. That's about when DRA would generally release the utilities and that finalizes the tax rate. About when we finalize the tax rate is late October, early November, about there. And then the bills go out by at least hopefully mid-November, and they're due in December. So this is a 5-year agreement. We don't really know what to expect. CNP told me that the formula DRA was using to calculate these utility values was coming out with some very large numbers, and also some that are undervalued. If that's the case with us and with anyone in general, they've given everyone a little bit of a grace period, whereas they can pay 20% each year. So how that works is if we assume that the assessed value was really high and it comes back lower, then, we can't just all of a sudden take a, whatever, $100,000, $200,000 expense out of our budget, so to speak. We were allowed, and they are allowed, to gradually pay 20% over the assuming, next couple of years. They did say if we go ahead and pay, we could defer this payment of $68.75 the first year. Afterwards, they said if we wanted to pay $5,500 the first year, which I recommend we do because we have a little bit in that assessing line to pay for it, then the $5,500 would be fixed.
Oh, I call this surprise, surprise, surprise. We basically have no choice. We have to do it. And we have to do it soon.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And there are not many other people that assess utilities.
Now, this is both utilities,
Yes,
correct?
that's how I read it.
Mhm.
And what is this, Charlie, is this your way of saying that we're going to go ahead and do this, or what do you want from us?
The recommended motion.
Okay,
Like I said at the beginning, technically assessing is the responsibility of the selectmen, but selectmen aren't, you guys aren't going to go out door to door and stuff.
you're right.
No, I don't think I can manage this.
That's why
Okay.
contract it out.
So the recommended motion is to enter into an agreement with George E. Sansushi, PE LLC, for the purpose of revaluation of all the taxable utility property in the town of Ashland. Further, to have the town manager sign the agreement on behalf of the town.
I will make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Mr. Silly,
Aye.
Ms. DeWolf,
Aye.
Ms. Newton.
Aye.
Mr. Badger says aye also. Okay. Moving on. You're still up.
I'm sorry. Oh
You're
yeah.
still
Oh
up.
yeah. I'm getting to my page. We've got another grant, a CARES Act grant for election funding. This is to cover any COVID-related funds that are related to the election. Our total amount is $5,446.02. That's an 80-20 split. We get reimbursed $45.38, but we have to accept those funds.
Okay. And of course, there is a specified there's a recommended motion for that.
Yeah, this is a reimbursement. The state has provided grant funding to handle the excess absentee ballots because there's way more people voting absentee this year.
Okay,
Yes, there's a recommended motion.
motion, and that is to accept unanticipated revenue and authorize the finance director and the town manager to apply for the CARES Act election funding in the total amount of $5,446.02, with a maximum federal reimbursement of $4,538.45, 80%, and a local match of $907.67, which is 20%, as well as any additional grant opportunities which may become available in the future in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Do I hear,
I'll make that motion. I'll make
What?
that motion.
do I hear a second?
I will second it.
Do I hear any further discussion? Hearing none. Alan Silly,
Aye.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Francis Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. Once again, we're moving on.
Yeah. New Hampshire Preservation Alliance reached out to the town. They would like to have a small gathering at Squam Bridge to honor Arnold Grayton. Apparently, they did this. He's already been honored, but they would like to have a little bit of a gathering in front of the bridge. In case folks didn't know, Arnold and his family have been, I believe his father built it, right? Someone can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think his father built the
Yes.
bridge.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, yeah. So, before just saying, yeah, go ahead, he said, you know, let's be courteous here and let the Board of Selectmen know.
What time on September 25th?
5 to 6:30 near
Was it
Squam.
at 5:30?
Yeah, 5 to 6:30 near Squam Bridge.
I would suggest we handle this like the wedding.
Yeah, that's why I thought the same thing, Kathleen. That's why I asked for
They
something.
contact PD for detail and DPW for the road closure.
Yeah, already given
And make
them-
sure
Yep.
there's parking and just like we did for the wedding.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any ideas?
Well, I think
No,
you
that-
covered.
Makes sense to me.
Consensus will do this?
I think so.
Works for me.
Okay. Alan,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
Fran,
Yep.
and Eli says yes. Now, the old-
Charlie, you will let them know they have to contact police and DPW.
Hmm.
We're having trouble with audio tonight. Yep. I'm getting an unstable connection signal.
okay. Old
Anybody
business,
else having
Charlie.
any issue? Anybody else having any issues?
I'm not having any, but I hear that yours is off. It fluctuates. It seems,
Yes.
to me, it seems to be your voice that warbles.
Yep. I have no problem.
How about you, Alan?
I'm getting a little something. I guess, yeah.
Nobody's phone.
Can you hear him?
I can hear that, but it's not showing up on my, it's not showing up on my list.
Okay. How many people do we have on tonight, Eli? Just a
We have
curiosity.
about 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, about 10.
Normal number.
A normal number, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But I didn't see anybody. There's nobody sitting in the waiting room that I can tell. Okay?
Yep.
So, any old business, Charlie?
I I do.
Go ahead.
We need to open up the town office.
Well,
We have, I've been receiving multiple complaints. We have, the town manager has business, utility has business, finance has business, land use has business.
Yep.
And the town clerk has business. We cannot continue to do business through a mail slot.
Charlie, how is this coming along?
How let me try to compose my thoughts and think about this one for a second.
Okay.
Uh, I've tried to open, I'll put it this way, I've tried to open the door.
Now, we
I've
do have a shield
I've
or-
got sneeze guards.
and we have automatic doors.
Not yet.
But we have them on order.
I've been working with a contractor about finding the right door.
Good.
One way or another, that door needs to be replaced. It is not energy efficient at all. During the winter, it blows some cold air in there. So
It's not just some cold air, Charlie.
yeah, it's freezing. And there's a hot vent in there. There's a vent in there, and it just blows right out the window. So anyways, yeah, we got to get a new door. I'm working with a contractor on finding the right door for it. And then Patsy has worked with a security company about getting a push button type unlock the thing if someone approaches.
Well, currently, if we get the proper sneeze guard up that fits all the way across and get that installed, we could put a sign that says 1 person at a time.
Yeah. And it's 6 feet from the counter to the first set of doors, and then the second doors, it's about 7 feet.
Yeah.
One at a time. Patsy just doesn't feel comfortable open. Like I said, I've got sneeze guards. We've bought sanitation stuff.
Yep.
There's one at a time, the distance.
I mean,
Mask. There's mask for people that don't wear a mask.
yes, we have utility payments that people want to make in person.
Mhm.
We have land use
Yeah,
people
we
that
need,
come
we
in.
need to have the map room open so that can be accessed. I'm gonna be very blunt here. We all worked at the polls last Tuesday. That's probably more people, well, I know it was more people that I've interacted with since the polls in March. Those were not completely encompassing barriers. There were spaces between them. We need to do the business of the town. If the town clerk is uncomfortable, then she needs to have her deputy trained to take her place.
Or she needs to wear a mask at the town hall.
Yes. She
I
needs-
agree, Kathleen, we should open the town hall. Like you said, the number of people that would be in the town hall at any one time is nothing compared to what was at the polls.
We
Thank you,
can
Fran.
still
Thank you, Fran.
limit the number of people that come into the building at a time.
In my experience, the only time there's usually multiple people in at a time is the last day of the month with the people who waited till that point to register their vehicles. If we have the same consideration and courtesy as was as that was at the polls, I think we can manage the situation. As the board who has oversight over town property, it is our decision how the building is, when the building is opened and how it's managed. Any other board member have any other thoughts?
I think that it's been said fairly succinctly.
So we can do this by consensus or by motion. I'd like
The motion.
enough, but our motion might be more effective.
Do I hear? What is the motion?
Motion is, what's today? Today is Monday.
September
Open
14th.
up. Yep. I'll put it to Wednesday. Then as of Wednesday, the 16th of September, the town office will be open for business with COVID precautions in place.
I would like to ask Charlie a question before we go much further. When is Patsy taking her vacation days?
Now she's moved to Wednesdays.
So Wednesday, it will be ready, it will be in place when she returns to work on Thursday.
Yeah, for the month of October.
Will we have the sneeze guard up and in place?
Like I said before, I bought sneeze guards that are 3 feet by 3 feet that fit in between the two columns. That didn't make the clerk feel comfortable. We had a larger one down at Electric. That one didn't work. She was gonna buy one. I don't know what it looked like from Pammy Glass, and she's not able to pick it up. So personally, I think that the ones that we bought for sneeze guards, the 3 feet by 3 feet work, but
I would suggest we use the larger one that was for the utility office.
Well,
that one,
there's a gap in that one.
yeah.
Mr. Badger, as a ballot clerk, I had quite a gap between the two areas at the table I was sitting at.
If we have one
And I was
person,
sitting right next, yeah, and I sat right next to the other ballot clerk.
I know.
So it wasn't an all-inclusive barrier. There was room between. And if some custom-made one is in the works, when that's finished, it will be installed.
No, I
But
think
until
we
that
use
time-
the 2 3-foot ones that,
well, I mean, yeah, if we're only gonna have one person in at a time, I think that they're fine on a temporary basis, and if we still want to look into something larger, we still can. I don't really think that should hold up your decision.
no, I don't think it should. I think we've got enough temporary plexiglass that we can use to open up the office.
I mean, it's a sneeze guard, and that's under the assumption that someone's not wearing a mask, but we are asking that they also wear it.
They have to wear a mask coming in.
Enter the building,
Yeah.
yes.
So we need signage for that. So we need signage and stating one person at a time. Mr. Letourneau, I do see you, but this is our meeting and we're discussing what we're going to do. So,
Okay, the motion on the floor is effective Wednesday, 9/16/2020. The town office will be open for business.
do I hear a second?
I'll
With
second
COVID,
that.
I would say with the COVID precautions in place.
I will second that.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly. Did he leave us?
We have an hour.
Yeah, it looks like Alan left us.
Okay. Francis Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. Motion passes. Mr. Silly has left the building. I'm looking forward to see if he pops back up.
I've got a couple other things that I'll try to
Okay, give us some time.
give you some, maybe you can pop back on in a second. We got a little bit of a hang up with the Access TV. Wait, Access, not Access TV, Access AV. That's the installation of, is he back?
Nope.
That's the installation of the cameras. The cameras are installed. The microphone is installed. It's all installed, but we got hung up because Spectrum wrote down the wrong address for installation of the IP.
We have no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I met them there and they wouldn't move forward because of that. I was baffled, to say the least, because they previously had an account set up there. The wires already run to the building, but they wouldn't do it. So anyways, when I worked on Saturday, I approved the reinstallation at 6 Collins Street. Turns out the Access still needed to order a separate TV monitor and a stand. That's for Zoom. So for the residents that call in through Zoom, but they won't be able to get back until the 30th.
What's wrong with the monitor we have?
Because that one could be used for presentations and about moving it. We wanted one separate so we could move it.
Okay.
That one, yeah, that one on the wall is too big to move. And or if you, like I said, you want to do some type of budget presentation or land use.
Yep, understand.
So Access won't be able to come back probably to the 30th, maybe sooner. I don't know. It depends on when Spectrum is going to be able to get back out there. I mean, last time Access.
Install the modem and
Yep.
and the Wi. Okay. The router.
We all
No.
still need to get trained. We have some training to do on how it all works, how it's set up. So we're going to need some time. So we're probably looking now more towards October. We're moving forward with Underwood Engineering. The state approved the agreement to have the facility plan for water and sewer, the septic receiving station. That plan hopefully will be done by April 2021, and we can determine really where we go next with the utility, the facilities there. Do we build a mechanical station? Do we drain the lagoons and line them? Part of that also includes a capital improvement plan over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm trying to think. And I sent that to you guys. You guys have any questions about that?
Not.
It was the same one I sent over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, once again, it's part of doing the business here in town, and we have to have engineers do this work for us and stop plugging away on the CIP.
The TAP grant, that's the sidewalk project. We had the pre-bid conference last Thursday. Engineer KV Partners Mike McNally was there to answer any questions the contractors had. The sealed bids have to be received by the 24th, at which then they would be open. Then that,
Are they being opened here at the office or somewhere else?
town office. Yep. Last time probably outside for the COVID separation.
Okay.
And then that goes off to the state. Hopefully we can get some of that going this year, but they're telling me that's probably not going to be completed now until spring of next year.
Alan's back.
Ellen's back.
Hey, sorry.
Quite all right.
So much for the upgrade.
Okay.
Thank you for rejoining us, Alan.
All
It's
right.
suddenly gone.
Was it something we said?
No.
Okay.
The last thing that I have, which is going to require the attention of the selectmen, is when the selectmen want to meet to start talking about the budget. I've sat down with all the department heads, and the budget is basically ready to go. I don't have the library's budget yet, but I have every other department. We're still working on a budget book, which is for the selectmen and for the public. That's where, I put a bunch of charts and graphs and terms and definitions all in it. So everyone knows these are the expenditures, the historical aspect of it, what each line item means. And this year we put in some glossary terms. So I know not everyone knows what an appropriation is, for example. But with that being said, the spreadsheets are ready to go. And we need to know when the board's ready to meet with me and the department heads. I know.
Have you sent out these spreadsheets?
Yes, the spreadsheets have been sent. I can resend it.
Are they the same ones that you sent last week?
To be safe, I'll resend it. How about that? No big deal. But as I was going to say, the budget committee, as you know, the budget committee is anxious to meet.
Yes.
But we're going to meet.
On my list up here, I have budget, and the budget committee wants to meet.
Mhm. So I guess the question is, when's the board want to get together and meet with myself and the department heads to discuss the recommended expenditures for 2021?
Well, if possible, we probably should have it during the day so the department heads are available. And it makes it a lot easier. Or at least maybe at 4 o'clock, 4:30, as they're ending their workday. Anybody else have thoughts?
I agree with you, Kathleen. Other than that, we'll just have,
No?
We've done this before, and I think it's gonna take us a little more time this year to try to keep it as lean as possible, because we don't know what kind of revenue stream we're gonna have going forward. But I believe Charlie's already discussed that with the department heads. And it doesn't appear we have too many big expenditures on the horizon. So,
No, I mean, it doesn't, right now, there hasn't been much coming through from the department heads. And it looks like our unassigned fund balance went up. We received a little bit of extra revenue last year. Yeah,
What's the unassigned fund balance at now?
it was about $1 million. A
Okay.
little bit over $1 million. Last year it was about 960,000.
Okay.
That's after, I know some in town don't think we cut taxes, so to speak, because we don't cut the tax rate. Instead, we take the unassigned and put it into capital expenditures. When we write down no tax impact, that's cutting the tax rate.
yeah,
Otherwise,
Well,
that's an appropriation to ask for the funds to come from the public.
I think it's been handled exceptionally well
Yeah.
this way. And I'm thrilled that it's back to $1 million.
yes. A little scary there for a while, so,
Using that money to reduce taxes reduces it for a year,
A year. And then
but
we
then
have
it
to,
goes
then we have
back
to fill
up.
the, yep, then we have to fill the kitty again.
Okay,
Well, whenever. Send us a time, Mr. Smith,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll
and
have.
we'll see when,
Who's it?
we've
Yep.
all got to be able to be there or in one fashion or another.
Yes. And then
Anything
on your
else?
to-do list.
Anything else? Mr. Smith?
No, I'll send a couple dates.
Okay. Moving on then. The vacant selectman position. We do have two candidates for the open position of selectman, Mr. Letourneau and Mr. Fitch. I assume that both of you gentlemen are still interested in becoming a board of selectmen until March?
Yes.
So we'll vote on each candidate separately. I am going to move to nominate Mr. Letourneau to fill the vacant position. Do I hear a second?
Second.
So any discussion about Mr. Letourneau? Hearing none. Kathleen DeWolf,
Nay.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Francis Newton,
Nay.
and Eli Badger says nay. Moving on to Mr. Fitch. I move to nominate Mr. Fitch to fill the vacant position. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
The vote for Mr. Fitch will be by roll call. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Is Alan frozen? Looks like Alan's frozen.
we'll move on to Francis Newton.
Aye.
Mr. Silly, can you hear me at all? And Eli Badger says aye. It will seem to,
I think we lost Alan again.
we lost Alan again. Do you want to wait until he comes back to?
Well,
get
the
his
the vote is still clear. I mean, Alan can add his vote when he comes back on, but it's either 4-0 or 3-1. So
Well,
And
yeah,
unlike the,
what?
I was
Mr.
gonna say,
Smith?
unlike the trustees of the trust funds, where it fills out the term, this appointment is only until March.
March, yeah. So, with the way the vote is now, it would be Mr. Fitch who becomes the Board of Selectmen. Mr. Letourneau, I want to thank you for your interest in the position.
I would like to thank both gentlemen for their assistance at the election. That was
Absolutely.
much appreciated.
I agree. So
Okay,
Andy, touch base with Mr. Smith. So you know what our meeting, what time meetings are?
Yep, with me. And you have to touch base with the town clerk, Andy. We have to. You have to-
swear you in.
Where you in? Are you prepared to do it tonight, Eli?
I don't have the paperwork. I probably can make, I probably have it somewhere. Let me, but, oh, finding things now with,
Oh, okay, so,
just a minute. I may be able to
okay,
accomplish this. Okay. Andy, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Andy, you're still muted. No, he's back to being muted again.
It's windy here, so I'm wondering if maybe that end of North Ashland Road is having issues.
Okay. I think it will be tomorrow if he'll go in. Andy, are you there? Alan's gone also.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There must be internet issues just past me.
okay. Andy, will you give him a call tomorrow, Mr. Smith, and get him to come in?
Yep.
Then next up is Town of Ashland policies.
First one's me. I've been approached by staff as to what is the town's stance in regards to traveling out of state. Floated around amongst many of my colleagues was this example draft policy that has already been through council that says basically we're not going to restrict people traveling out of state. But we ask if you travel outside of New England, then, you know, when you come back, please quarantine for 2 weeks and or
Welcome back, Alan. Welcome back, Andy.
Sorry.
It happens.
Like I said, so much for Spectrum upgrade.
Yeah, don't tell me about it. So, do you want to ask him, Eli, for his vote on Andy?
Your vote on Andy Fitch, Alan.
Yes? What?
We left off with you on, it has been three of us have voted for Mr. Fitch. We're waiting for, if you wish to vote.
I will pass. I will save my vote for March.
Okay.
Is that an abstention?
That would be,
Call it whatever you want.
Well,
Not voting.
That's an abstain, I guess.
okay. Andy, can you talk yet? No, you still, okay. So the COVID policy is people traveling outside
New England.
New England.
Mhm.
Are there any states that, well, will they have to shelter in place if they go to a hot spot when they come back?
And or show us a negative test.
Okay, so that will be in there also.
Mhm.
Okay. So what do you want us to say?
well, I think he's looking for us to accept this policy that he presented to us.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's very inclusive.
Yeah,
It makes me,
really comprehensive.
yes, it makes me not want to go anywhere. Not that I am anyways, but I would vote to accept this.
Alan?
I had mixed thoughts on this, but
Well, let's see.
let's just say I'm not ready to vote on it. How's that?
Well, it's put in front of us to act on tonight, Alan.
I mean, Alan, if you have an issue, it could sway people.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I can do that.
This is where we do our business. Fran, do
Okay,
you have any thoughts?
I think it looks like a good policy. I support it completely.
in that case, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the COVID-19 travel and quarantine policy as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Francis Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. Moving down the line,
And,
Yeah.
we need to have that posted on the town website
yep,
as soon as possible. So
What's
the public knows that we're enacting this. It's also for their protection.
Travel policy for
Charlie-
town.
Charlie can add it to his ever-growing list of things he has to do.
are all
I think we're all having issues tonight with connections.
I'm not, but I'm special.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Eli. You are special. And you
I am
live in a
special.
special place. Us that live out in the hinterland, you know.
Yes,
All right, so the next couple items that are on the agenda, Kathleen, for the policy and the ordinances, asked that I put those on. You have previously seen the personnel policy. I don't know if you need more time.
are all the typos out of there? Are all of the,
Except for one, I do have one more typo.
when it is fixed and we have the
We will vote
corrected
on it
copy,
then.
we'll vote on it then.
Yep,
If I may
I
say
agree.
that for the rest of the group.
Thank you.
Fireworks ordinance.
I just wanted to keep this on the burner, along with the firearms ordinance. Charlie did present us with a fireworks ordinance. I believe we need to probably discuss it a little more. I'm not sure if everybody has it in front of them. And the firearms ordinance, my feeling is that we should have a sit down with Chief Ulrich, so we can discuss the compact area and the delineation of that compact area.
Well,
So
how
this
it
is
works
just
for
another-
us, how it works for us now, instead of 1968, the
Yes, correct.
population has increased on
Correct.
certain roads.
Correct. So this is just to keep it if this on the burner. So at a meeting, future meetings, when we don't have such a heavy agenda, we probably could act on them and put them into place.
Okay. And now, are we done with this? Kathleen, are you all set on
Yes.
this?
Yes? Yes?
Alan?
Yes.
Fran?
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Ashland Electric vacancy.
Wait a minute. So with the fireworks and the firearm ordinance, do you want me to hold off on that?
So
Well,
so
One, we don't have a,
the fireworks, you gave us a sample, and I think we kind of agreed we liked it. there was some times of day. But we can do that at a meeting where we have maybe a little lighter agenda. The firearms, we were gonna divide them out. Right now, they're the same ordinance. But casually speaking, because
Mr.
of
Chief Olwick's,
since 1968, once again, the town has changed. It's more populated in some areas, and we need to delineate the area where it would be permissible and not, which will mean a sit down. I would like a dialogue with the police chief to assist us in this.
Alan,
So
do you
like-
have a copy of both the, well, of the fireworks ordinance?
Yes.
Does everybody have it?
Fran, do you have a copy of the ordinance proposed? Okay, okay, so,
I can resend it.
okay. And yes, I think that we need more. We actually have to write a new firearms ordinance
Yes.
if we're going to separate it out.
Yes.
Okay. Does that take care of that?
Remember when we used to have the project list?
Yes.
Same idea, that this will,
This
until we act on this, it will be
keep coming back to haunt us.
correct.
Okay.
Thank
Now
you.
can we go on to the Ashland Electric?
Sure.
You're up.
Oh, let me make sure. We had 2 resignations this past week in Ashland Electric. The superintendent has resigned, and as has our billing clerk. We were able to fill the billing clerk position with former utility billing clerk. And I don't know quite yet. I have a couple ideas with the superintendent position. I'm not sure if we're just going to go ahead and fill that immediately. In the meantime, probably going to work with a department head to help handle the day-to-day activities for the department.
And Charlie, how will emergencies be handled?
Well, they'll still be the same way that they are now. I mean, we still have a journeyman and a linesman that are able to respond to the calls. Our other journeyman is out on military leave. He works with the National Guard to help out, so he's not available. I've been asked to possibly fill one of the open linesman position as the 2 guys really need an extra set of hands, so to speak, for someone that's on the ground. If we've got 2 guys in the bucket, I
Somebody has to be on the ground.
Yeah, I actually sarcastically said to catch you or something, and they're like, yeah, in all seriousness, even though I was, being completely sarcastic. But yeah, they need another guy. I have a few applicants that I've saved over the years that over probably the next week or 2 we'll take a look at to see if we can get those guys some more help.
Charlie, have you conducted an exit interview with Mr. Cool?
Not yet. He had a scheduling conflict, but Catherine was going to do that.
Okay, I think it's important that we do that. So we, have a clear understanding of what any potential issues are.
I think that should be a set procedure now, as much as possible, so we understand issues are, and so they make, something we can address going forward. I agree with that.
Okay. So we have the billing clerk taken care of. do we have any possibility of a short-term help from VEPSA about an outrider that can come in and,
Yes and no. I talked to VEPSA today. What they have is more of someone that could handle projects.
Not a troubleshooter type of guy then.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's $70 an hour to have someone come pass in time cards and invoices.
No.
I didn't really feel too comfortable about that at the time.
okay. But moving forward, you keep us informed. Okay. The only other thing I have is the transfer station billing issues. How are we doing that now?
I initially had that on there tentatively, but Craig and I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk further about that. What happens since we installed the 2 scales, we got hung up with the way we're administering the billing process. I guess you could say some people questioned about the due date and the turnaround and when they have to pay and whether or not they get service. We didn't really have any policy in place for it. Patsy made a decision at the time. Since then, we pulled some policy from the town ordinance, and Craig and I, we still need to sit down and review it before we send it up to the board for a vote.
Okay.
Okay. Greg, is there anything you want to say before we?
I think the billing is a good thing for the guys down at the transfer station.
Yeah.
It was difficult for them to keep track of the transaction, the cash. A lot of times the buck was off $3 or $4, and this is good for everybody. But I think that the issue is the bill's due in 2 weeks, and a lot of people, there's still a lot of people out there that wait to the end of the month to pay their bill.
Well,
So we just have to discuss what you guys think is best. Is it the same as what we do with everybody else? I mean, why is it 2 weeks?
I
I don't know what you do, to be honest with you. I don't know how you handle everybody else.
Well, I think the utilities is 30 days, the electric,
Oh, okay. Okay.
you know what I mean? It's due after 30 days. But Patsy, she went ahead and did the,
after 15.
well, first it was like due upon receipt, and then and then I think she adjusted it.
Well,
Well, I don't believe that's in her purview, so we need a policy that you understand, and Danny and Henry can understand, and at the same time, we don't want to antagonize the people who are using our facility.
Right. Danny and Henry are doing fine. It's just the billing from the, what should we set for a policy? 30 days, 15 days, 10 days,
well, right
what's
now,
the best?
before this, if somebody came up with a truckload of wood, they would pay immediately, would they not?
Exactly. They would pay right then and there
So,
before they even dumped it. Well, a lot of times no, I guess they dumped it, and then before they left, they'd pay.
so yes. So now they're given a bill and told that they need to go to the town office to pay. Is that correct?
No, they're given a receipt for what that tells them what the invoice will be. They're given the scale receipt, which tells them it's your bill's going to be, $25. And then
Okay.
Patsy, once I turn that in, every Monday I turn them in, she will generate an invoice at that point and then mail it to that person. And then they can either send it in the mail or drop it at the slot or come in to pay.
We
So,
can't have a verbal policy. We have to have something that we can put on the website that everybody can see, so it's available to everybody. We can't have somebody changing midstream on how this is gonna be managed. Personally, I would find that quite irritating. If I was in the business of doing demo work. So we need to come up with the language, and then the board will decide on whether that's suitable or not.
Yeah, and just so you guys
I'm just
know,
gonna say, if the town clerk really doesn't have the authority to set up policy.
just so you know, I sent out an email to all the other transfer stations around the area.
okay,
None of them have a policy on this. It's all brand new to
Yeah.
everybody. So it's.
Well, maybe we can be in the vanguard
well,
with ours.
even
Yeah,
if,
exactly.
even
Yeah,
on,
right.
if we send them a bill that says COD,
Well, that's how the electric bills are now, payable upon receipt. But
cash
we
on
have
hand.
to state that somewhere. It's not.
Yes,
it
we have to
can't be
state,
verbal.
we have
Yeah.
to state that on the invoice.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
on,
But it sounds like it's changed a couple of times, so.
well, I think that somebody has said you get 2 weeks.
But yeah, she had pushback from some of the townspeople.
On 2 weeks?
Well, I think I don't know. Do you remember, Charlie? Was it immediately when they complained?
Yeah.
And then she called them. Well, of course, when people don't pay, I get a list from her, and we do not let them dump, and that's what triggered them to
Yeah.
call the town office.
Oh, shit.
So every week I give them a list. Here's the list of people who can't dump until they're settled up.
Yeah, which they probably don't know until they go to the dump and approach the scales.
That's right, and sometimes they're on it. It's difficult.
No, that's not acceptable, no.
Yeah, it's difficult to get that, because that's what you're going to find is these people are reoccurring customers. There's a few that are not. You might have just one person every once or twice a year, but a lot of them are repeats.
Well,
So if they don't pay their bills until the end of the month. So they might come in 3 or 4 times during that month, and all of a sudden I tell them they can't pay, and they're like, well, I just got the bill 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So it's odd to them. They don't know the policy yet, and frankly, neither do we. So
I was gonna say, because we don't have one, so the bottom line is we need a policy, and we might have to tweak it a few times, but we need to get something in writing and posted as soon as possible.
So what do you, Craig?
Yeah.
What do you think is a good time before for them to be billed? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month?
well, it doesn't really matter to me. I think we got pushback on the immediate bills, and I guess I can discuss with Patsy, how the bills have been coming in. Have they been coming in at the end of the month? Are people waiting? Or I think we're about $1,200 in the rear right now. It's not that much, but they're coming in.
So if
But-
we do a standard, if we give them 30 days.
Yeah.
then it actually turns into about, depending on the billing cycle, it actually turns into about 35 days between before you get notified that somebody hasn't paid.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Or we state on the policy, if you do not pay within 30 days, you will not be able to access the facility.
Yeah, I had always intended on doing that, and that's going to be the driver of people paying is
Mhm.
they won't be able to
Yeah,
they
yeah,
won't be able to use the facility. So
yeah, they don't want to get there with a full truck full of demo and be told, I'm sorry,
Since
you have to come back when your bill's
some
paid.
people are going to be coming in could come in on a daily basis.
Yep.
It would still be end of month that they get billed for anything they've done up until that. It isn't a month from every charge.
right, yeah, I would say if they they put their they paid their last bill, it would be fine.
Alan, you just shook your head. Go ahead.
Well, this is one of those things that got put in place without a plan to begin with. What has really come about, is my understanding in the last month or so, is that there have been 2 demo projects ongoing in town and not done in a consistent, timely fashion. So there was an overlap of billing to a point because of the quote mixed policy. And it caused one issue with a business person who was shut off, and it caused some issues. But this is something that needs to be well thought out. You can, because this is one size does not fit all, as far as I'm concerned. You will have contractors who are doing a huge renovation project where they are relying on us to help them out to a point. So therefore, my feeling is, and I'm not just sticking up for contractors in general, but knowing have been down that route before, it's very helpful to know right up front what's expected of you. And that's why I will agree that there has to be some kind of policy, but it's a policy that's way too late and it's happening. But I really believe that this is not something that you can just say, well, we'll put something in place and keep tweaking it. I don't have all the answers to this, but I do believe that it needs some thought process before we really move forward, especially on the billing end of this.
My primary reason for asking people tonight is not to come to a decision, but to get the process started.
I agree.
When I say tweaking, I mean that we have a base and then we work from that base. Because right now we have nothing. And
Well,
I also heard complaints myself, and I absolutely had no answer. I had no clue what to tell them.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Because we're only open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So
Yeah.
that's the day that they come and leave off their demo.
Yep, Mr. Smith.
Well, I will say this, we do have a base, we do have a transfer station ordinance. The thoughts thus far are to tweak that current ordinance by adding a few lines about billing. I will say this, sure, when we first started this, there were some upset folks by the decision that was made. But since then, I have not really had many complaints at all. I don't know if you have, Craig, but it just seemed like people just had to get into the routine and an understanding as to what was going on, and people have been compliant.
Well, if they got a truck full of demo, they've got to unload it so they can, do other work, so. What choice do they have, really? So could you forward us the ordinance, the dump ordinance that exists? That might be helpful.
Yeah, I have a, we've done a draft one, so, and I have all my notes on it, and we ready for the meeting. It just hasn't been, we haven't had time for the meeting yet.
Okay.
So we're ready to go. All my edits are in place, and I just got to meet with Charlie. So
Okay, that sounds good. So maybe we can address it at our next meeting.
I don't see a problem with that. That should be easy enough to do. I just got to meet with Charlie. That's all.
Sounds good, Craig. The dump guys, as I call them, say that the scale's working well, but they have been some issues, and they're put in a position that they really don't need to be put in. And this way they have something. Even if you have printouts to hand to somebody, say, this is operating. Anything to make everybody's job easier.
Okay.
I think everybody's getting used to it. We're bringing in more money than we ever have. At least probably double, if not more than that, every week. So it's going to be good to see the number at the end of the year, what we've done.
So if you, Craig, if you did a cost benefit analysis, we would be happy.
Oh yeah, I think well, all the money goes right into the general fund. So
Yeah.
But it's probably, I don't know if it's going to be 20 grand at the end of the year, maybe. If we had a full year on it. I think we've only had it in place since April.
How much did it cost us, Craig?
Boy, wasn't that scale 60,000, Charlie?
Yeah, it was about 55,000.
55, yeah.
We did do a little bit of a rough cost benefit analysis, Eli, with the expectation that I think it was within 5 years.
Within 5 years, it'd be
paid
up, yeah.
paid up for. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, the town was losing before a lot of revenue because it was like an estimated guess. Someone would just look and go, yeah, it was $150. Nowadays, it's accurate. Craig was telling me one time he don't think he ever charged someone $200 for a truckload. And now you get an accuracy.
Yeah.
Well, I was down there one day with somebody that had a pickup truck full that was just trying to throw everything in the hopper. And they asked him very politely to, access the scales, which he did. But that's how it used to be done before. Some people would just unload everything in the hopper and go on their way. So,
the other thing real quick about the billing, folks, is that, we don't have Wi-Fi capability down there to really, accept credit cards.
No, I understand that. It comes up, and at the end of the day, at the end of the week, and then gets entered into whatever program we're using. I would imagine that it goes to Catherine.
No, the bills go to Patsy, because Patsy is the clerk. She receives the revenue to make the deposit.
Okay.
Catherine doesn't do the billing?
No, the clerk does the billing, because the clerk does the deposit with the bank every day. Finance doesn't handle deposits.
No, I know,
But-
that's the court
but-
statutory duty.
But what about,
So when the revenue comes in over the weekend, Craig brings it up and the clerk deposits it and then sends out the bills for the scales every Monday.
okay,
Right, Craig?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Patsy actually manually enters everybody in the computer and it spits out an invoice, but it's not into any kind of a program. It's just a Word document, I think.
Mhm.
it's either a Word or Excel document, yeah.
It's Word or Excel, and it spits out the invoice.
Okay,
All right, I guess you two have your meeting and give us what you come up with, and please provide the policy that we already have down at the dump. It's not on the town website, is it?
Yeah, I think it's on there.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it is on there, Charlie. You'd have to check, but I think we do have it posted.
Okay. If not, I know who to ask. To send.
okay.
I'll
Does
be
anybody
sending you
have-
guys a lot. You'll be getting a lot of documents from me tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Does any, yes, Mr. Silly?
Not to really beat up on this situation, but I think to put some of this into perspective, I'm going to ask Craig how many names were on that list that couldn't dump because of non-payment. And I think that will kind of shed some light on this. And I know it's been different at different times, but let's just say in the real beginning.
Looks like we might have lost Craig.
No. There's another thing to put on your list, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Well, I can tell you, I kind of know, and I'm not going to throw the number out there because it's
Well,
not,
let's hear it from Craig. So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, Craig's back.
Craig's back now?
No, did you hear me? There's 11 or 12 people on that list.
No, we didn't hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah, but
11 or
that-
12.
But that's now. In the
That's right
beginning,
now, yeah.
in the beginning, it was way more than that.
I think it was quite, yeah, there was a whole page at one point of, yeah, and I don't remember how many lines were on that page. There could have been more than 20.
Because we didn't
No,
have a
but now it's
system.
done.
We didn't have a policy.
Right, and when you start to tell people they can't, and then they
Yeah.
say, oh, yeah, okay, well, I guess I better pay my bill before I go down there. So they do. They're learning, and it's just a learning curve for the public, and just as well as it is for the people working down there and us. So it's all new. And then we'll get it hashed out. I think it'll be fine in the future.
I agree. So we'll just get something on the paper and provide it.
I guess one of the things. How do you guys feel about billing? I mean, like Alan said, there's a lot of contractors, and I know contractors probably would love to have 30 days. Is that a number good for you guys as a guideline?
I would think that with contractors, 30 days is fine. I think, but if we give one person 30 days, I just don't want to see it build up.
Well, it won't, because even, I mean, they won't be able to dump. And then you're shut off. You just can't dump your goods.
I mean, do we still tell them that it's cash on demand or credit card on demand or check on demand, that once they get their bill, they can't dump until they pay?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Can they pay credit card with this?
Not,
Only at
not,
Only at the town office.
yeah, only at
Yeah.
town office. And we,
Well,
and I don't
and
think,
right now we're not open either to accept that, so.
right, and can that be added to the website? You know how you can pay some things online?
That would,
I wonder
Probably
if we
not.
could do that.
well, yes, physically it can be added, but we have to talk about the policy.
Yeah.
And what we want and what's going to be best for everybody all around.
Yeah, I guess yeah,
It's like water and sewer dealing with the haulers. You never, those people were, some of them didn't pay for 60 days. And they got cut off at the end of 60 days. They weren't happy about it, but that's the only way we could get paid.
Well, let's get this in writing as soon as we can.
Yeah.
So more homework for Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else? Charlie's hand is not up. Kathleen's hand is not up. Mr. Silly's hand is not up. Ms. Newton is hiding.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here.
I'm here,
Okay.
but I have nothing else.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
You, okay.
Were we gonna have a discussion about debris after what occurred on Monday? So it ran pretty smoothly, but there were a few issues that we would like to, should we discuss amongst each other?
We should have a debrief with, the fire chief and the police chief and Craig Moore and everybody else to, make sure that we're ready for November, because the issues will be a little bit different in November.
I agree with you, Fran,
And
and
with Bobby and Kathy.
Bobby and yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to know ahead of time, because I don't like getting there and be told X, Y, Z. We have enough-
I got.
Yeah, we got enough time to address any issues that occurred and have it run even more smoothly than what we just experienced, but.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I got
Right.
thing. Sorry, I didn't catch that. I got told things weren't as accommodating for the selectmen. The selectmen didn't have chairs. The selectmen didn't have a table.
We had 2 chairs outside.
So I'd put it out there. If you need anything for November, such as a table,
We will,
chairs, just let me know, and me and our staff will make sure the selectmen, have at least the accommodations that you're comfortable. I mean, I've worked the elections before as a moderator, and it's a long day,
it is a very long day.
very long day.
People lose their tempers.
Mhm. And
Um,
the federal election, that's the biggie.
Yep.
You're gonna get swarmed all day. So if you need anything, like I said before in my email, masks, shields, gloves,
We may need a heater.
Yeah,
Well,
a
I-
heater. I can see
Well,
I have one in my office if you need it.
No, outside.
outside.
Oh,
Yes, outside.
I think that we have to
Yeah.
look at
mhm.
being outside, 2 people being outside for 4
Mhm.
hours at a time, or 6 hours at a time, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
they need to be somewhat comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that we really need to look at changing the way people are allowed into the core of the building. So we may ask about being in the entryway where it is at least a little bit warmer.
Well, again, I
allowing-
think we should have a sit down with all of the relevant people.
Absolutely.
And trying to decide anything right now.
Yeah.
You better end the meeting before I think of something else.
In that case, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye, everyone.